Money Cuts family, how everybody doing, man? I definitely appreciate you all tuning in, checking the video out, man. I'm not sure if you're watching it on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, wherever you're watching it at. I just appreciate you tuning in. But please definitely like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is under J.E. the Anointed Barber. That's J.E. the Anointed Barber. All right, my Facebook, you can find me under Jonathan Edwards. Jonathan is spelled J-O-H-N-A-T-H-A-N, last name Edwards. As well as I have a Money Cuts page on Facebook as well. My Instagram is under J.E. the Anointed Barber. And my Snapchat is under @JayHunnids. So that's @JayHunnids. One of the big questions that I'm asked, golly, can't talk, that I'm asked about, or that I ask other people is, how did you get started? What made you want to go into barbering? What made you start cutting hair? Questions like that. And to be quite honest, I never got into barbering to cut anybody's hair. Back in 2005, when I started, I asked my mom for, I think it might have been either for Christmas or for my birthday. Regardless of what it was, I asked for some clippers for an occasion. So, she said to me, she was like, "Boy, what you gonna do with that?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know, but I'm gonna try to figure it out. I'm gonna try to figure something out, because we wasn't always in a position to be able to pay that money to go to the barbershop. I'm sure there's other families, out there that experience the same thing. So instead of, just going around looking rough, I'm in high school. This is my junior year. I can't be looking crazy. High school, that's a big deal for high schoolers, man. Young teenagers, that's a huge deal. Head looking crazy. No, I can't be in there looking crazy, man. So, I asked her for some clippers, to give me some clippers. So she got me, I remember, she got me some Walmart specials, Oh, man, I remember it, man. I remember seeing, I forget what the brand was. It might have been Wall. It might have been, Conair. Matter of fact, it was Conairs. They were Conairs. But it was a dual pack. It had like the clipper and the trimmer in there. I'm thinking, I'm doing it. I'm like, ugh, I'm finna be snapping. I see all the guards. I see my little oil in there to lubricate my blades. I see my guards. I see my little cleaning brush. I see all the little things. I'm like, man, this is decent. Like, this decent. So, started cutting my own hair. Let me tell you, it's not as easy as it look. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not as easy as it look, man. I commend all barbers. Prior to me starting this, I commend y'all, man. It's not for everybody. Everybody cannot just pick them clippers up and just feel like you're a professional. No, you have a professional tool in your hand, but you are not a professional, sir or ma'am. But yeah, so I used to mess my head up. Again, we talking junior year of high school. That's huge. to mess it up. Now, not to the point to where it wasn't, you know, it wasn't all right to have the rock the style, you know, in school or whatever, but you know, I had some dark and light patches, and you know, in certain areas, hairline wasn't as crispy, you know, and you know, jokes was being made about me, you know, got into a fight about it, because now y'all just ride me. You know how when somebody's talking about you, you'll laugh with them, but somewhere on down the line, like you start to not be laughing with them, you just trying to laugh it off to get them to stop. Yeah, that was me. You know, like, yes, okay, it ain't funny no more, man. All right, you steady going. You still got more jokes? You still got more? You know? So like, no, I didn't like that. But I stuck with it. I stuck with it, man. I stuck with it. And not that every time I would cut my hair, I can see the progression. Not that it became perfect. No. Didn't happen overnight. Didn't even happen within that first year. Cutting your own hair is extremely difficult starting out because there's so many different and awkward angles to cut your own hair, especially when you're getting into the back of the head. But you know, at that time I was a waver. I was a huge waver. So because I developed a certain method of how I brushed my hair, I would cut my hair with the grain, using my clippers in the same manner as I would if I was brushing my hair. So I can just cut my hair in that same motion, so it felt like I just had a brush in my hair, and I would cut my hair the same exact way. Just an all even cut all the way around. No tapers, no fades, none of that. All even around. I line up as best as I could around, you know, around the ears, in the back, the front, all of it. You know, and I seen the progression each time. Even with all the jokes and all the everything, man, I stuck it out. I stuck with it. Why? I don't like to feel like I can't do anything. And then when you're telling me or you're laughing at me, you're laughing at something that I'm doing, this is encouragement for somebody else. Don't allow what somebody else is saying about what you're doing. Don't allow that to stop you. Don't allow that to discourage you. Let it fuel what you're trying to do. You know, because, you know, I got better and better, you know, and then I started cutting my little brother, and then my other brothers, and then friends of friends, and man, I started out cutting hair, man, in my mother's bathroom. I'll even name off some names, man. I know, like Jordan McGee, you know, of course, like I said, my brothers, a few friends. I remember Jonathan Edmond. He was one. I remember sitting on that toilet, man, in the bathroom, man. A few of my cousins, like Marcus, Jarvis, Quincy, even my uncle, well, Stone, y'all may know him as Charles Stone. You know, those were my first initial cuts, you know, like I said, friends, some family, and, you know, that was my practice, man. But it started out on myself. Once I seen that I was getting it down for myself, with all of those awkward angles, oh, it was cake. To have somebody sitting in directly in front of you and you're just cutting, man, that was way easier. So my progression got a lot faster and a lot quicker doing these people sitting right directly in front of me versus on my head. On my head, man, I was taking, what, maybe 2 to 3 hours to do my head. 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, 2 to 3 hours to cut my hair. That's what it was taking me. But, you know, like I said, I stuck with it. And even them same ones, I'll say this, them same ones that was even laughing at me back then, they sit in my chair to this day. That was 15 years ago. But just to continue to talk about my backstory, you know, as I seen the progression, I'm like, you know what? I want to go to barber school. So I won't mention the school, I won't mention the name or whatever, but I went to this particular barber school. I sat down with the, you know, the owner, the instructor, and I was asked, you know, a few different questions, trying to see, you know, my skill set, if I knew the different hairstyles that was trending within that time, if I knew my guard system, if I knew just all of these very basic foundational things. And mind you, we wasn't in the YouTube area, so it was era where you couldn't just log into YouTube and have all of these different videos that explain all. This wasn't back in that time. 2005, you couldn't do that. Right now, we're in a video world now. Back then, no, we didn't have the pleasures of that. So everything was literally like self-taught. Like I'm literally self-taught. So yeah, after he asked me the questions and we got done with the conversation or the sit down, the orientation, I didn't like his response. I didn't like that response. The response was, oh, well, it seems like you got it down packed, you know. All you got to do is put in your 1,500 hours and you'll get your license. So I'm like, so I'm going to come to school with expectations of being educated in my craft, learning something. I have high expectations on learning something. But with your response, you're capping me off where I currently am. You're basically telling me that I have it already. I have it down packed. But in essence, I don't. So I'm going to spend all of this money to come to school, but not be educated? That discouraged me. So I no longer took barbering serious. I no longer took school serious. I felt like school is not important. What's the point of going to school? This person just told me I'm good where I am right now. This is 18, 19 years old. I'm 33 now. You capped me off at my skill set level then. I was 2 years in. 2 years into cutting hair. Not even to cut other people's hair. I was cutting my own, and for a good year was cutting, you know, some family and a few friends. That's it. I was like recycling a few, like 6 heads, maybe 7. That's it. That's all I had to work with for within them 2 years. I mean, maybe a head or 2 being added in here and there, but I'm saying consistent, like every week, every 2 weeks, these are the people that was coming, you know? So, I didn't go, you know? I went into warehousing. You know, I'm like, man, I need more money. School is pointless. You know, I didn't take barbering serious, you know? So I started doing it on the side. It became a part-time thing, you know? And then it got to a point because, you know, I started having kids and it just got a lot harder, man. It got a lot harder and I needed to work. So doing those few little heads, I was probably, making maybe $10 a head, you know, back in that time, probably $10, you know, if I remember correctly. So that's not no real money. And recycling maybe a max of 10 heads, you think that's gonna, you know, get you through your year, pay your bills? And no, it's not working. And at that 2 kids at that time, or 1 and 1 was on the way, no. Them little 10 heads, that wasn't doing nothing. So yeah, as time went on, you know, I was in and out of warehouse and putting in so many hours, you know, but I always on that job, on those jobs, you know, I was in and out of different temp services and working for all of these different places, and even, you know, moving up within the company, moving up, you know, on these jobs, and got very good, you know, within a warehouse setting, you know, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. You know, there was still, I always felt like it was something more in me, and the warehouses just wasn't satisfying that. So I would talk to God all the time, like, God, I want to do something that I love to do. You know, I want to get paid doing something that I love. I don't want to dread waking up having to go do this certain job that I don't want to be here. I pulled up to jobs many of times and it was like, man, I haven't even went in to clock in, but I'm pulling into the parking lot and I'm like, man, I don't feel like being here. I don't want to go in here. I don't want to work for anybody, you know? it's so much more to me, man. I have so many gifts, so many talents, you know, that God has blessed me with, and I'm in here doing this, slaving, man, slaving in the warehouses, driving different forklifts, being in leadership roles. All of it was fine at the time, but it was never satisfaction. It was never total satisfaction. But it seemed like whenever I would get a chance to cut hair, that's where my satisfaction was coming from, because I'm an artist at heart. Straight out of high school, I went to the Illinois Institute of Art, got in off of my art portfolio. You know, so at my core, I'm an artist. I'm a designer. If I can do anything that has to do with creating, designing, concepts, imagery, just anything with design or creating something, that's what I love to be in. That's what I love to have my hands in and hands on with those type of things. But, you know, putting in all of those hours at work, my passion and my love for cutting hair started to dwindle, and years started going by, and I would do it part-time. And then it got to a point to where I'm like, man, I'm so burnt out with working, I don't want to cut hair at all. So now I'm doing what I do not love to do, and I cut off what I absolutely love to do, where my heart was, where my passion was. I cut it off, you know, because I was so set on this warehouse is guaranteed hours, this warehouse is guaranteed secure money. Cutting hair, you're your own marketer, you're your own branding. You know, that's your own lifestyle. Whatever you don't do or you do, it's all on you. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It has its difficulties, it has its perks. But you do more work as an entrepreneur than you do going into a 9 to 5, clocking in, getting secure hours and secure guaranteed dollars. I can sit here for 8 hours. If nobody sits in my chair, I don't make a thing. You can go into your warehouse job for 8 hours and they say there's no work for you to do, but we still need to keep you here. Guess what? You still get paid for all 8 hours doing no work. So really think about that next time you're talking entrepreneurship. You work more being an entrepreneur because everything is on you versus being in somebody else's place of establishment. You get what I'm saying? But just to continue going on, you know, I stopped cutting. You know, I stopped cutting, and I ended up landing a really good job. And I was working for, just recently, we talking within a 5, maybe 6 year span, because I was there, 3.5, maybe 4 years. A company called Ecolab. I was working for Ecolab. Some different things happened on the job. I ended up being laid off initially at first and then let go afterwards. Hit me hard, hit me extremely hard. We're talking, I'm at a stage in my life where, you know, I have multiple kids. I have a huge family, you know, a lot of responsibility. I have bills. I have, you know, the same things that you all have. I have all of these different things and responsibilities that I have to take care of. Eyes and people that are counting on me. They're counting on my leadership. They're counting on my providing, you know, my security. And I done lost my job, you know, but the whole entire time, all while working these jobs, all while being on that job, I didn't love the job. I liked the pay, but I didn't like the job. You get what I'm saying? I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like what I was doing. So, you know, once I lost it, of course, anxiety was rising. My fear was rising. Oh man, what am I gonna do? I have bills to pay. I have kids to take care of. What am I gonna do? And you know what? You know, it got to a point where I said, you know what, God, I'm gonna cut hair. I'm gonna go full time. This was, what's this, 2021? That was 2019. That was 2019. I'm like, man, you know what? Cut hair, God. See, but over these years, it's been where, God, I want to cut hair so bad. I want to step out there into entrepreneurship and do this and really trust you. and not get so caught up and hung up on this secure 9-to-5 job, because entrepreneurship looks too difficult. It looks too hard to manage. It's not secure. It doesn't look guaranteed, you know? So that fear was rising up. But I'll tell you one thing right now, man, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Losing my job was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Them letting me go was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Because I was too afraid to step out there by faith and do this full time. But me being forced out pushed me into the area that I was supposed to be in. And when I tell you, I've been more successful now as a full-time barber than I was at any job I've ever worked. And I thank God for that. I thank God for that. All of that time being afraid of stepping out there, wanted to make this decision because my whole heart was there. My mind was there, but my actions wasn't. I was doing a lot of talking. I was doing a lot of praying, but the action wasn't there. Faith without works is dead. If I wasn't moving, I wasn't acting on what I'm verbalizing. So if I'm not acting on it, or I wasn't acting on it, that means I really didn't believe in what I say I wanted to do. I really didn't believe in God being the one who was going to help sustain me in that. But I'm telling you, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Losing my job. Losing my job. Now I'm full time. Now I've gone into barber school. I'm at Midwest Barber Academy. Excellent school. I've been learning so much thus far, especially when it comes to shear haircutting. You know, but over this time frame, yeah, I've been cutting about 15 years, since 2005 to 2021. You know, so yeah, around that those different times and these over the years, yeah, you know, within like 15 years, I would say, you know, I've been doing it, you know, off and on a lot, and then just really 2019 is when I went completely full time with it. So yeah, man, I'm just appreciative. I'm grateful, and now I'm in a position now at 33 years old, you know, I'm in a different mindset. You know, I'm more focused now, and now that I know that there's success in what I'm doing, not in just money, because as a barber, I've realized it's more than just cutting hair. This is a lifestyle. How I conduct myself, how I come off to people. You know, when people sit down in my chair, I'm to create an experience for them. Not be distracted with all of these other different types of things. Being on my phone, texting, being distracted if you're in a barbershop setting, being distracted with other barbers next to you or other people within the shop. When that person books you for your service, they book you for that time slot. They're paying for your undivided attention. It's your job as the barber, as the stylist, whomever you might be, to create an experience for that person. Create an experience for them to come back. Create a great experience so that they can go tell the next person. So now, not only do you have that person coming back, but they're gonna bring someone with them. Guess what? That's your business scaling. Your business is scaling now. The work that you put out there is going to speak for itself. Whether you're using social media or not, people are gonna talk. Hey man, where you get your haircut from? Oh, such and such did it. Like, man, give me his information, man. I like his work. Wow, new client, just like that. New client, just like that. Just off of word of mouth. Just off of seeing your work, walking past them in the store, in the school, on the job. That easy, man. That easy. As long as you're staying consistent, you're staying reliable and punctual, man, don't be chasing GOAT titles, trying to be the best in your city and all of these different things. Be the best version of yourself, and that's what I'm trying to do. So now I'm currently in school right now to receive my instructor's license, because I want to open up my own barber college. So I want to say, and I've said this to them, to both of them before already on social media, but I want to verbalize it again right now. I appreciate my old barbers, Greg Bean, Tara at one time, and also and Sid was my last barber. I used to pay attention to how the clippers felt, you know, moving in my head. I used to pay attention to the pressure that they were using in my head, and I would go home and I would try to replicate or duplicate what they were doing in my head. I would just go up again, because we're talking a time where you couldn't just go on YouTube and look up videos of all of this content. That wasn't heard of. So I literally had to just pick. When I'm sitting in their chair, I'll be sitting in Sid's chair, and he doesn't know it, but I'm paying attention. I can feel how it feels in my head. I can feel how he's moving in my head, certain areas in my head with the clippers. I can feel the pressure of him lining me up with the trimmers, or the pressure of it with the razor. I had to learn all of these things on my own, but paying attention to what other barbers were doing in my head. And because of that, I appreciate you all. Greg Bean, Tara, and Sid, I appreciate all of you, because you were a big help and a big asset to me, even my passion growing more within the industry, not even knowing what you were doing. So I would say, you never know who's paying attention to you. You never know who's watching. So always be mindful of how you're conducting yourself. Make sure you're being as professional as possible. Professionalism within our industry as a barber, as a stylist, should be high on your list. It shouldn't be at the bottom of it. Your professionalism, your name, respect, that's the only thing you have in this world. Respect, your name, your professionalism, your appearance, how you conduct yourself, you know, and your experience that you create for your clients, man. So, man, I'm appreciative. I've been on this journey. I'm loving where it's taking me to. I'm loving everything about it. Of course, does it have its difficulties? Yes. You know, we'll get into those things in a later video, but for the most part, man, I love what I do. Everybody that sits in my chair, they know I love what I do. When you sit in my chair, you're not just getting a haircut. Man, I'm educating you on your hair. I'm suggesting different things. You know, I'm suggesting different products. Not just me talking about some things. It could be something that I've experienced, something that I've educated myself about, doing research on. You know, I'm just trying to help you all by increasing my knowledge, my understanding about different things when it comes to hair. You know, when it comes to the scalp, when it comes to different products. You know, I'm trying to educate myself and increase my skill set and skill level for the benefit of you, to help service you at my highest potential. You get what I'm saying? So that's my overall goal. The biggest satisfaction that I get out of cutting hair is not the exchange of money. That's not the greatest satisfaction. My greatest satisfaction is this. When I can, and I'm not even gonna edit this. When I spin you around in my chair and I give you the mirror and you like, yeah, bro, I'm feeling this. Like, ooh, I'm finna kill him tonight. Like, man, I gotta step out, man. Like, that's the greatest feeling ever. You know what that does? That motivates me to want to do the next head. That motivates me to want to get better. That shows me that, man, you're progressing. So it makes you want to learn more. Like my wife says to me all the time, she was like, how do you sit up and just watch barbering videos every day, all day? I say, I love what I do. I love seeing other techniques. I love seeing how this person approaches this cut versus how this person approaches it. And it could be different or similar to what I do or don't do. You know, you may see something that somebody does that may work a lot more efficient than what you're doing or what you've been doing, you know? So I said all that to say this, man. It's not about your small beginnings, man. Everything is gonna start off small. When you're starting a business, when you're stepping out there by faith to start your own business, to be in entrepreneurship, it's a level of discipline that you have to have in your finances, in your mentality, you know, because you're gonna have days where you don't feel like, you don't have a boss. You are the boss. So if you don't want to work, you don't have to work. So it takes discipline to keep pushing yourself. And you know what? I got to keep going. I got to keep making better decisions. I got to see what's my next move. I have to plan this out. I have to make sure, you know, that my business finances are in order. You know, I got to make sure my tax records is in order. You know, it's so much to it. It's not just, I want to cut hair and make some fast money. No, wrong mindset. Wrong mindset. You know, so let's lock in this year, man. 2021 is going to be an excellent year. It's already been a great year thus far. And I'm just looking to learn more. I'm looking to grow more. I'm looking to learn more. I'm looking to grow more. Again, I'm not so caught up in trying to have a GOAT title or the best in my city. I'm this, I'm the best this, I'm the best that. I'm trying to be the best barber that I can be for you. That's it. I'm trying to be the best man that I can be for you. That's it. So I feel like if I'm giving you the best of me, I'll receive that in return. You know, and that's in relationship building. That's in exchange of a service for finances. You know, that's in exchange in ultimately just relationships, man. Build relationships with your clients outside of just cutting their hair. Don't let it just be a business transaction. You don't know who that person is or who they will be in the future. That'll probably be that person. That one person might be your one ticket on out of here. That one salary job that you wanted. Now you've been flown around, you know, from city to city, being paid a salary by this one person because you stayed consistent, because you stayed reliable, because you stayed punctual. Think about that. Think about that. So, my name is J.E. the Anointed Barber. Again, like, share, subscribe, man, to my YouTube channel, J.E. the Anointed Barber. Like, share, and subscribe to my Instagram page. That's J.E. the Anointed Barber. On Facebook, again, you can reach me at Jonathan Edwards or Money Cuts. On Snapchat, again, you can reach me at @JHunnis. That's at JAYHUNNIDS. All right? We out of here, baby. Thanks for tuning in.